Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cámara Peruana de Comercio Exterior. Welcome to our weekly English classes. It's the beginning of a new week. Today is January the 18th. I hope everyone is safe at home, taking care and healthy, taking care of each other and of your families. Remember that the the virus is still out there, so take the necessary precautions if you need to go out. I mean, I know it's inevitable to go out because we need to work or buy things for our homes. So if you need to go out, remember to wear your masks, wash your hands, maintain distances when you go back home. Change your shoes, change your clothes, spray alcohol around all over yourselves just to avoid um, bringing something into your home and getting sick. Um, so just let's do this for ourselves, for the people we love, for the people at our homes, for our parents, our wives, our husbands, our children, our brothers and sisters. Okay. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. And let's start this new week. Remember that we have classes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 10. Okay. Also that I will follow this conversation via Zoom and also via the Facebook app. Okay, so remember that the only problem with Facebook app is that for some reason I normally get the messages with a little bit of delay. So if that happens, I hope you bear with me and just wait for me to be able to answer your questions. Okay. So let's begin. Today's topic is going to be words related to journalism, and we're going to finish off with some advice that maybe is out of the blue, but that is recommended for, especially nowadays with all these health issues going on. Okay, it was an indication that we had some kind of suggestions and advice for this topic that we're going to talk about at the end of the session. But in general, it's going to be related to vocabulary related to journalism and things that are related to journalism. Okay. So my name is Carlos Martinez Flores. I'm an English instructor and speaking coach. I'm a former team leader at Pacifico University, and currently I am an EFL teacher at the Mater Purísima School in Miraflores. I hope everyone is fine, and let's begin. So if we talk about journalism, the first thing we need to talk about is, of course, newspapers, right? This is the most common way of journalism because we have written journalism, spoken journalism, um, um, radio and TV journalism, etc., right? But the most common one is newspaper. Now, each newspaper has different parts and different names. For example, this is the Washington Times. Here we have El Comercio, Expreso, La República. Okay, this part of the newspaper is called the masthead or nameplate. Okay, this is like the name of the paper that you're reading. Okay, so when you're talking about the news, a masthead refers to the banner with the newspaper's names and logo on the top of the newspaper's front page. Okay, so this is called the masthead or nameplate. I'm sorry. Okay, then normally underneath this comes this big, normally, for example, in this case, the Chicago Daily Tribune says the Great War ends. Okay, jobs will surrender to General MacArthur. Okay, this is from the World War II, and this is called a headline. Okay, this is called a headline. This is the most important news that happens that the newspaper is reporting. Okay, this refers to a short phrase at the top of an online or printed article. A headline summarizes or draws attention to a story that encourages people to read it. Okay, so notice it says online or printed article. So this also applies for web pages. Okay, people often choose to read a few headlines rather than full articles, get a quick sense of what's going on. I mean, this is what happens. I mean, for us who have ever used public transportation, we walk around newspapers, we read the headlines, and the one that's most attractive, normally we stay and try to see what else is going on in sports or entertainment or politics. Okay, so this is the headline, the main information that is collocated at the beginning of a newspaper's front page. Then we have when every article, has the person who wrote it. Okay, and this is called the byline. Okay, the byline is the name of the reporter or writer of the article, usually found at the beginning or at the end of the story. So we can find it at the beginning, sometimes under the title of the article, and sometimes at the end. Okay, remember this is called the byline, the name of the person who wrote the article or the reporter who investigated the news. Then this is, for example, the first paragraph of a story. Okay, this is what is called a lead, or you can spell it like this or like this. Okay, um, you can spell it like this, L-E-D-E, or L-E-A-D. Okay, both are the same, well, pronounced the same. A lead or lead is the first sentence or paragraph of a news story. It summarizes the point of the story and encourages people to keep reading. Usually, the most important part of the story is mentioned here. Okay, so like I said, the lead or the first paragraph of the story is the one who's going to tell everyone what the story is about, what you're going to be talking about, what basically summarizes everything that's going to be read in the article. Okay, and this is the most important stories. The it's not a summary, but it's the most it tells you what the article is going to be about. Okay. And again, this is called the lead, L-E-D-E, or lead, L-E-A-D, pronounced the same. Okay, so far we have the headline. I mean, like the byline, the lead. Now we're going to talk about, normally in every article or newspaper we have some kind of graphic, and we have some information related to that graphic. Okay, and this is called the captions or cut line. Okay, the captions or cut line is normally the information that is under the picture that's going to tell us what is going on, what is happening, what the picture refers to. Okay, so if you're talking about a caption in an article, it refers to a text placed below or beside a picture in the article to describe it and identify its source. So as identify its source also. So normally also sometimes it's going to explain to us what is happening or also tell us where it's from. Okay. When it comes to video, a caption refers to text superimposed over video describing the content. So when it's a video, like we know, captions are the little letters that we see that tell us what people are saying. Okay. So notice that captions can be used in pictures and in images to tell us the source of the material or what is happening in the picture. And captions are also used in videos, as we know, so we can read what people are saying. Okay, very good. So these are the captions or cut line. Okay, both mean the same, the caption or cut line. Then we have, for example, here, it was on Mr. Kerry's boat in Vietnam. He doesn't deserve to be commander-in-chief. Okay, when we have an expression with these quotes, these little quote at the beginning, quote at the end. So sometimes it's an expression, people say quote and unquote when you want to refer to what somebody said. The same happens here. Okay, a quote. A quote refers to exact words of a person that are reported in the story. Quotation marks, you see, are used to show what was said hasn't been paraphrased by the report. Okay, so when somebody reports something exactly as it was said, we use quotes or quotation marks, and we call them quotes. Okay, and we call them quotes. This is when we report exactly what somebody said. We don't paraphrase it. We don't do anything to it. Okay. So these are different parts of a newspaper. Okay, and finally we have two more. This is called the advertorial. Now, advertorials in Peru are, I mean, we see them somewhere in the newspapers and magazines, where we look at something and it looks like an article, but then all of a sudden it's an advertisement for propaganda for some kind of product. Okay, so an advertorial is a word that combines advertisement and editorial. Advertorials are ads that have been written to look like articles. Okay, so when you see an ad, an advertisement, but you see that it looks like this. It looks like if it were um, an article. But like I said, it's happened to me more than once when I'm reading something and all of a sudden at the end it says, if you want to buy, please call, and it's advertisements. Okay, so these are called advertorials, and they're collocated in newspapers and magazines. They are made to look like news, but in real life they are just advertisements. Okay, and then we have these expressions that, for example, help readers keep reading by adding jump lines when articles continue on the page, continued on page 5. And jump lines are also called continuation lines, okay? Continued from page 1, okay? So these are called jump lines or continuation lines, okay? This a line that tells the reader where the story will continue or where is the part that is missing, okay? A jump line or continue line is something like this, okay? Sometimes when you read a newspaper, it tells you where you need to go, okay? So if you want to continue reading this, go to page number 20, okay? And when you go to page number 20, it says it continues from page number 3. Excuse me. And so these are called jump lines or continuation lines, okay? Very good. So these are the different parts of a newspaper. Let's review very quickly. Let's go back very quickly to the beginning. So we have first, we said it was the masthead or nameplate, right? And then we had the headlines, okay, where we have the main news of the newspaper, masthead or nameplate, the title of the newspaper. Then we have the person who wrote the article. It's called it appears in the byline, okay. Then we have the first paragraph of an article, which normally tells us the main information or the most important information of the article. It's called a lead, okay. It's called a lead. Both spellings are correct. Then we have normally we always have pictures, and we have information under the picture, which can be a description of the picture or the origin of the picture, and this is called the caption or cut line. Okay, the caption or cut line. Then we have when the new reporter writes exactly what was said. I mean, it doesn't change anything. This is called a quote. Okay, normally goes in quotation marks. And finally, we have an article, an advertisement that looks like an article. It's called an advertorial. And when we have this information, when the rest of the missing information is in another page, it is told to you by a jump line or a continuation line. Okay. So now, very quickly, here we have 4 pictures. Okay, we have 4 pictures. And we have 4 its names. Now, let's see. Do you remember which one was which? What number 1? Which one is number 1? A jump line, a caption or cut line, advertorial, or a quote? You can participate through Facebook or through Zoom. Picture number 1 here. And advertorial. Let's see. Very good. Number 1 is an advertorial. What about picture number 2? An advertorial is an advertisement that looks like an article. Number 2. Number 2 is a caption. Very good. A caption or cut line is information related to the picture of its origin or a description of the picture. Very good. What about number 3? Very good, Carlos. Very good, Sarah. Yes. Number 3, a jump line. Let's see. Very good. A jump line or a continuation line. It's when the article tells you where to continue reading. Very good. And finally, of course, it's the quote, right? Very good. Very good, Sarah. Very good. Yes, a quote. A quote is when the reporter writes exactly what was said, doesn't change anything, and he collocates it in quotation marks. Very good. Very good. Now, we just reviewed the parts of a newspaper, and now let's look at the sections of a newspaper. Now, newspapers have different sections, okay, and we're going to go through them. So the first one is the general news. Okay, this is usually the most important news in both local and abroad. Abroad means in another country. These are usually found on the front page of the newspaper. The title of the news is printed in big bold letters called banner headlines, what we mentioned before, right? So this is general news, the most important news. This is normally the first part of the newspaper. Now we have another section that's called the local and foreign news. Now this is still, like I said, the most important ones, whether they're local or foreign, they're going to be in the front page. All the others are going to be in the local and foreign news section, and it contains the news from towns and cities of the nation and abroad. The editorial page. Okay, the editorial page contains articles called editorials. Editorials give views or opinions of the editor or publisher of certain issues and events. So notice, this is important. Views or opinions. So an editorial is the view or the opinion of the editor or publisher. Okay, so it's not news. Remember, an editorial page is not news. It is the view or opinion of the publisher or the editor. Okay. Now, the sports page, like its name says, it's the section that contains the sports. I mean, any type of sports news and update. Okay, this section contains news and events containing sports forming in another country. This section also contains well-known people in the sports world. So it talks about anything related to sports, whether it's specifically sports or maybe events or local events or foreign events, anything related to sports. Then we have the classifieds or ads section. This is where, for example, when you're looking for a job, when you're looking for a job, you go to the classifieds, okay? It contains advertisements that fall under the category like help, wanted, for sale, for lease, or wanted to buy. Okay, so the classifieds or ads section is the place where you go when to look for the classifieds. When you want to buy something or sell something or looking for a job. And then we have the business and finance section, and this is the area of the newspaper that talks about necessarily about business. Anything that's going on in the stock market, in the local stock market and foreign stock market, the prices of the exchange, and anything related to business. Okay, anything that's related to business. Some newspapers are specifically for business. Okay, so these are some of the sections of a newspaper. Again, general news, front page, most important news. Local and foreign news section, it's a specific section for all the other news, local and foreign, from other countries. Editorial page is the page where the publisher or the editor collocates his or her points of view or opinions about a certain topic. Sports page is the place where everything related to sports is collocated. Classified ads section is the place where you go when you look for a job or when you want to buy something or sell something. These little squares with little information. Business or finance section is the area of the newspaper where everything related to business and finance goes. Exchange rates, stock market, etc. Very good. Okay, so these are some of the areas of the newspaper, but we have some more. Then we have the entertainment section. It contains everything related to movies, actors, radio, TV, anything. I mean, anything related to entertainment. In Peru, some newspapers are specifically for entertainment. Others are specifically for sports. Others specifically for news. But in some countries, I mean, everything is in one newspaper, right? So they have their entertainment section. Okay, it's a place where you find anything related to movies, radio, television, and anything related to other activities in the entertainment business. Home and culture section, it provides info about budgeting, food preparation, home improvement. There's always I mean, if you start to think about it, you're going to see that every newspaper has these, I mean, a part where they talk about health, what to eat, recipes, tips for your home. Okay, so this is the home and cultural section. Society page contains news about important people who are celebrating special events in a particular place. Now, in Peru, at least, these society pages are mostly included in magazines, but some newspapers. I think I've seen it in El Comercio. They has a section where it talks about society, what's happening, events, openings, important people or people from the entertainment business and things that they do, and anything related to society. Then we have the travel and tourism section. It contains everything we need to know about traveling, not only advertisements from the travel companies, but it talks about destinations. It talks about it talks about what to do if you're going to travel. It gives people tips, And this is the travel and tourism section. And finally, we have the announcements or obituary page. This is the page for religious activities, and also like the people who have currently or recently died. Okay, this is the obituary. Now, some newspapers have all of this together in one newspaper. Some newspapers, like for example in Peru at least, El Comercio, it has, if you notice, each of these sections comes with an individual part, at least on Sundays. Although El Comercio has changed a little bit and just tried to put everything into one. But if you remember, back in the day, El Comercio came with many parts, like 4 or 5, 6 different parts. Okay, and each part was a different section: entertainment, home and culture, travel and tourism, announcements, or obituaries. But these are the main parts of a newspaper. Okay, so again, to review, let's review. Again, sections of a newspaper: general news, front page, most important news. Local and foreign news, it's the section where all the news is, whether it's local or foreign. The editorial, comments or opinions of the editorial or publisher. The sports page, like the area where all the sports news is. The classified section is where you look for a job or you want to sell or buy things. The business or finance section, it's a place in the newspaper where all the things related to finance are located. Then we have the entertainment section. Again, its name says where people when you talk about anything that's related to entertainment. Home and culture section, um, you get advice, you get things that really related to the home, how to, furniture, decorating, etc. Society page is where people talk about society, inaugurations, parties, and stuff like that. Travel and tourism for people who like to travel, tips and also advertisements about travel companies. Announcements and obituary page, it provides information about religions things and also the people who have passed away or who have died recently. Okay, now we're going to do something similar as we did before. Here we have editorial page, general news, society page, ads section, and obituary page. And here we have some of their definitions. Now, I would like for you to match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with A, B, C, D, and E. Let's see if you can remember. Anybody? So for example, editorial. Which one will be editorial? A, B, C, D, or E? Number one will be B. Very good. The editorial page. This section contains articles called editorials. Editorials give views of opinions of the editor or the publisher. Good. Number two, general news. Which do you think is general news? Hmm? Okay, if you guess 2D, let's see. Very good. General news is usually the most important news in both local and abroad. These are usually found on the front page of the newspaper. Society page. This is an easy. The society page. To letter E, let's see. Very good. 3, letter E. Very good. Very good. Number 4, the ad section. This is easy. 4C. Very good. Contains advertisements. And finally, the obituary page. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Sarah. Very good. The obituary page is, let's say, A, provides info on activities of different religious sections and also lists people who recently have died. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And let's go on to the next topic and vocabulary related to newspapers. So we have these 20 words that are related to newspapers. Okay, notice how It says article. It's a noun. You see these letters. This is when it's a noun. For example, this is a verb. Okay. An article, a text, a piece of writing on any non-fiction subject. Okay. A broadsheet is a large format newspaper with usually serious contents. And then we have all the other censors. Okay. A checkbook journalism. Checkbook journalism is the obtaining of exclusive rights to a story by payment of large sums of money. Okay. So checkbook journalism. Correspondent is a person who writes a letter to a person, um, to a paper to person who writes the articles for newspaper. Okay, so I write the news and I send it to the person in the newspaper who's going to write it. Okay, so I'm the correspondent. Critic, a person who writes articles stating opinions. The desk, a department of a newspaper. Edit, a verb, is to check or modify generally prepared written material. Editor is a person who edits. Okay, the head of a newspaper. Editorial is an article written by the editor. Exclusive rights, the rights of permission for one paper to publish story that no other paper can. That's exclusive rights. Feature, a special or regular article in a newspaper. Front page, the first page of a paper. Headline, the title at the top of an article. Journalist, a person employed to write articles for a newspaper. Journalism is a noun, the career. Media, all the means of mass communications, paper, TV, radios, etc. Opinion, what a person thinks about a particular subject. Paper, a thin, flexible material, or also the newspaper. I can say, I'm going to get the paper, I'm going to get the newspaper. Story is a news article or report, and a tabloid is a small paper with short, sensational stories. So a tabloid are these newspapers that talk about sensational stories and not necessarily serious stories. Okay, so these are some vocabulary related to newspapers. Again, like I said, this N means it's a noun, this V means it's a verb. Very good. Now here are some words related to publishing. Okay, if you're a publisher, whether it's a newspaper or for a book, you also have words related to publishing. We have this at or copyright, means that it's exclusive, right? The author is the person who writes the book or the newspaper or the article. Then we have bind, it's a verb, to put pages of the book together. Okay, bound is the past, binding is the noun. Blurb, okay, a blurb, a short promotional description of a book, usually printed on its jacket. The jacket is the cover of the what protects the book. The chapter, one of the main divisions or sections of a book. And the contents is what is inside the book. Okay. Edit means to check, to modify, or generally prepare the material. Fiction means that it's imaginary, it's not real. Okay. The front cover. The front cover is the first or the outside part of a book's jacket. Okay. Again, the jacket is the thing that covers, like that protects the book, carrying the title, the author's names, etc. The hardback. The hardback is one of these books that is strong. The other, for example, if you are capable of folding the book, then it's not a hardback. Normally, hardbacks are very hard. You can't fold them. I remember back in the day there was this mathematic books called Baldor, and this was a hardback because you couldn't fold it. It was not. It's very. The covers were like carton, very strong carton. Okay, index is the alphabetical list of words. Okay, inside front cover is the front flap of the book's jacket. Okay, so again, inside the book, um, it carries the blurb. Like we said, what is a blurb? It's a promotion. It's a short promotional description of the book. Okay, a short promotional description of the book. And normally, when you open inside, there's the jacket. Like I said, is this paper that protects the book, and inside you see some information about the book, and sometimes in the back you see information about the author. Okay, nonfiction, things that are real. Paperback is the opposite of hardback. Paperback are these books that you can fold. Okay, normally they're smaller and they're cheaper. The cover is paper, very soft carton. Okay. Spine is the part of a book's jacket that usually faces outwards on the shelf. Okay, the spine is when you put the book in your library, you see that, like, the name of the book or the name of the author, it's written there. Okay, the title is the name of the book. The title page is the page of the book, usually the third that carries the title notch type. Type or printing type is the letters of the you're typing, like the font. The font is more like for computers. And typeset is a set of type to change handwriting to type, etc. Okay, so here's some information related to publishing. Okay, remember that all this material is collocated in at the Camex, so you can it's available for you to achieve to get. Okay, and then we have the part. Okay, of any newspaper article. These are the different parts of a newspaper article now. And this is like, we just went from the big picture of the newspaper to the small picture of the article. The articles in a newspaper, you find many articles, okay? Sports, religious, finance, entertainment. But basically all articles have the same division, okay? The first part of the article is the headline. I mean, it's like the title of the article. It catches your eye and sums up the story. It is usually in larger fonts and bolded. Shantoya wins $50 million. Okay, so this is the title of the article, the headline. Okay, it's like I said, normally in big letters, bold letters, bigger at least than the rest of the article. Then we have the byline, like we mentioned before. The byline, this tells you who wrote the article and sometimes gives you the journalist's specialty. For example, science reporter. So sometimes we get the name of the person who wrote it and specifically what he or she does. Okay, in the byline. Like I said, the byline is the name of the person who wrote the article. Place line. Now the place line is similar to the byline, but as the name says, place, it tells you where the story originated. Okay, where the story is from. Okay, this is the place line. And normally underneath we're going by appearance. Okay, so it's headline, byline, place line. Then we have the lead or LED also. It gives you the most important information, but very briefly, usually who, what, when, and where. Okay, this is the first paragraph or the first lines of the article. If your article has only two paragraphs, then it's going to be the first lines. It gives you the most important information of who, what, when, and where. Now, the body of the article, it's like any body, okay? It supplies information, it supplies, it gives more details to the story, okay? The facts. Every news article includes simple, true statements about what happened, such as the flooding set the building security system off at 5:15 a.m. Fact, simple, true statements, okay? Normally, articles must have true statements. This is something that is very up to date now. It's happening all around the world. Sometimes we believe so much in newspapers that sometimes newspapers take advantage of this and they write something and we say, okay, it's a newspaper, it must be true, and we believe it, okay? Because we are accustomed to thinking that newspapers are all about facts, okay? And as we have seen in our local history and also internationally now, for example, in the US, we see that sometimes newspapers or vice versa, um, um, they are not related on facts. Okay, so it's very important to investigate to make sure that whatever you read on the newspaper or online, make sure that it's true. Quotations, and again, we've mentioned this before, these retell word for word what someone exactly said. Okay, we don't change everything. Usually these quotations come from witnesses of a scene or experts on a subject. For example, Mrs. Nanavati, principal of Fletcher, said, quote, "It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen," unquote. Okay, so these are parts of a newspaper article. And again, we went from the big picture of the newspaper to the small article in the newspaper. Okay, very good. Very, very good. I hope there are no questions so far. And again, remember, like this, normally lesson one is basically just for information, vocabulary. And our next topic, we're going to go a little more into depth with maybe some grammar, some structures, or develop more these topics. Okay. And now, like want another the last topic that we're going to talk about are incentives, because like any job, I mean, Normally, especially there are some job activities where you get incentives. If you're in sales, if you are in the media, normally you get incentives for doing a good job. Okay, now the incentives can depend on what type of incentives you receive. Okay, now it's not necessarily need to be an economical incentive. Okay, an incentive is an object, item of value, or desired action or event that spurs an employee to do more of whatever was encouraged by the employer through the chosen incentive. Okay, so it motivates employees, right? There are four kinds of incentives are available for employees to use at work. Okay, oh, sorry for the typo. Um, Now there are other types, but these are what I consider to be the most important. The compensation incentives. This may include items such as raises, more money, a bonus, a profit sharing, signing bonus, or a stock option. Okay, so here is an economical compensation. You get something of economic value. Recognition incentives includes actions such as thanking employees, praising employees, presenting employees with certificate of achievement, announcing an accomplishment at a company meeting. So you are recognizing to everyone else that this employee did something good. So this is a recognition incentive. So this is not you're not getting an economical incentive. You're getting some kind of praise. Okay, their acknowledgement. They are recognizing that you had done something good. Rewards incentive includes gifts, monetary rewards, service award presents, items such as gift certificates. An additional example is an employee referral awards that some companies use to encourage employees to refer job candidates. Okay, so this is a reward. A reward can be anything from money, of course, to a gift. Okay, this is different than the compensation incentive because in the compensation incentive, this is basically money. So in some way, with a raise, a bonus, something, but you're getting something economical in exchange. A reward incentive, it can be anything. Maybe companies give you, I don't know, an artifact. For example, I remember a place where I was working at many years ago. If you had been working at a company for over 20 years, you were eligible to win a trip around to a certain touristy place or a refrigerator or a stove or even a car if you were there for many, many years. So this is a reward incentive, okay? People wanted to continue working at this place because they wanted to be able to receive that after many years, okay? And finally, the appreciation incentive includes such as company party celebrations, company paid family event. Now, this is when the company celebrates you some way, okay? Maybe for your birthday, they do something good they do some kind of celebration at work, or maybe like some companies here in Lima, like in Christmas, they do celebrations for the children of their employees and things like that, right? So these are appreciation incentives where they show you how much the company likes you, okay, or loves you, or appreciates you. So why am I mentioning this? Because it doesn't. Yeah, it's not really specifically related to journalism by per se, but like any job, where recognition is an incentive is more about recognition. Okay, recognition. For example, in journalism, there are recognitions with prizes, with the best reporter here or there. They're sometimes recognized because they go from newspapers to the TV and stuff like that. Okay, so that's why it's mentioned here. And finally, a topic that like I mentioned before, and this is just for me giving you some advice. This is personal advice. And I thought it was important for me to mention it now because I mean, all the things that are happening. Okay, please, if you smoke, please stop doing it because I mean, not only because of the pandemic, but in general. But I used to be a smoker. Now I'm not after many years, and basically because I didn't feel very well with myself physically. Okay, so just very quickly, May 31st is a World No Tobacco Day. These are things that are happening to your body, that your heart is in danger, your lungs are in danger, your brain is in danger, and your stomach is in danger. Notice all these body parts. Sometimes we think that when we smoke, only your lungs are affected, but all these body parts are also affected. Your bladder, your blood, your cervix, your colon, your esophagus, your kidney, your larynx, your liver, your pancreas, your stomach, your well, and of course your bronchi and your lungs. Okay, so please don't smoke if it's not, especially nowadays. I mean, sometimes I walk around the streets and I see people smoking now, and I know it's a habit, a bad habit, and I know sometimes it's difficult to stop doing it. But if you're supposed to be wearing a mask and you're smoking, then it's okay. So here's some advice that I will give you if you want to stop smoking. First, think positive. You might have tried to quit some smoking before, but you weren't able to. But continue doing it. I mean, even if it didn't work the first time, it will happen eventually. I stopped smoking after many years, and it was difficult, but it was not impossible. Make a plan to quit smoking. Make a promise, set a date. I mean, don't just do it because, okay, say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking until this day, for example, and then you continue from this day to another day. Okay, so plan it. Consider your diet. Some people believe that, for example, if there are some drinks that go with cigarettes, or some food could go with cigarettes, okay, that make cigarettes more satisfying. So maybe change it. If you know that drinking beers will make you smoke, then don't drink beers. If you know that going to barbecues are going to make you smoke, then don't go to barbecues, etc. Okay, the same with change your drink. Come to get some smoke support. Find friends or family who are also going to stop smoking, and they will help you. Okay, so don't do it alone. Get moving. Start doing some exercise. If you do exercise, sometimes it'll take up your time and you won't smoke. Make non-smoking friends. Find people who don't smoke. That way, again, this is the first one to get some smoking support. But this goes to the fact of socializing. If you go out to party with friends that smoke, it's going to make it more difficult for you to stop. And most finally, and most important, also make a list of the reasons to quit. Normally, it's going to be your family, your wives, your children, your loved ones. Okay, these will be the most important reasons for you to stop smoking. Okay, so again, I know it has nothing to do with the topic, but I think it's always good if I have the power of reaching you guys and I can give you some advice, whether it's in Spanish or English, I will try to do so. Okay, because I think educating not, doesn't only not it's not necessarily about only learning languages, but learning things that will help you for your whole life. Okay, so thank you very much. This is all for today. The next topic is going to be, like I said, we're going to continue with some journalism, but now functions. Maybe we're going to practice a little bit more exercises. Okay, and I will see you on Wednesday the 18th, again at 9 in the morning, as always. Okay. Um, Again, thank you for your participation. For the people who have participated in Zoom, thank you very much. People who have participated in the app, in the Facebook app, thank you very much. If you have any other comments or questions that you might have, again, here's my contact information, cjmflores@gmail.com, or my WhatsApp number, 947-390-436. Again, 947-390-436. And finally, you can contact me at my LinkedIn account, cjmflores27. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for your attendance. And if there are, if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer them now. No, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Carlos, for your participation in Zoom. Thank you, everyone, for your participation in Facebook. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I hope you have a great morning, a great beginning of the week, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye bye. See you around. Thank you, Carlos. Bye bye. See you.